in order to try and illustrate where we've been and where we're going, I'm going to talk about my life, my lived experience. And as we know, lived experience trumps every other analytical tool in the toolbox, so I win. So my mum and dad lived in two houses for the whole life, and brought up a family of five. Council houses, and it's important to stress, as I think Liam was starting to hint at, there is renting and there's renting. So renting off the council in the past is not the same as renting in the private sector at the minute. My mum and dad, when they rented their council house, knew that council house more than likely was for life. So it immediately was theirs. So it was irrelevant whether they owned it or they rented it. They had a safe place to live, to bring up a family. And that generation, working class generation with it, didn't even aspire to own their houses. It was both unnecessary and unaffordable. So renting, certainly in this respect, council houses, I think was an important driver in the creation of vibrant communities, and I don't think it can be or should be underestimated. In the 60s and 70s, I'm the baby in my family. I've got four siblings. In the 60s and 70s, where we lived in Glasgow, the community was pretty much organised around heavy industry. My dad worked in the shipyards. My mum ruled the roost. Everything that we done when we were children was organised through the shipyards, through the union, and through, co-op societies and the like. So our Christmas party, there were like 4,000, 5,000 kids crammed into a cinema, and that was organised by the shipyards or by the trade unions. Our holidays, also known as the Glasgow Fair, where the shipyards shut down for a fortnight, everybody went on holiday at the same time and often to the same place, Blackpool. Adult social life as well was organised through the workplace as well. My dad drank in the same social club. It was legal to drink until he popped his clog. The same pub pretty much every night as well. It was a social club organised by the membership and funded by the membership, except Women's Night, which was a Monday night. That's when my mammy was allowed to go. So I think it's I hope you don't think I've got a romantic view of this. I completely rejected in my youth that way of living, kind of punkish attitude. By the time my siblings started to fly the nest, that world had already begun to unravel. What was seen as fairly safe employment was starting to look really shaky. And these houses that Liam talked about, my mum and dad moved for what was called a single end. So you had a glory hole with a double bed in it, a kitchenette, and if you were lucky, another bedroom. They moved for that to an inside toilet, bath, bathroom, and all the rest of it in 3 bedrooms. So it was a real move up. That kind of stock, by the time I was kind of starting to grow up, was starting to degrade at a horrible speed. So people were wanting to get out. My brothers and sisters have all lived in 1 or 2 houses for their whole lives. I've lived in 28. I counted it last time. So they just got sort of their way around the collapse of the council houses was to buy. That they were the first generation to be able to do that. Whereas I rented, and as I say, I rented nearly 30 flats in my lifetime till I managed to buy one. To cut it short then, my generation was the arse end of what was a really stable, community-oriented way of organising society, and it should be stressed, the connection between that and the world of work. So private renting and the housing crisis is very real. We need to build new homes. But I want to pose the question or suggest that it is not private renting or renting in general is not the main driver in a sense of rootlessness in society at the minute. I think we have to broaden that discussion out. We can't afford to ring fence housing and building. It's more than bricks and mortar.
Thank you so much, Alex.